as it has not been specified, I am using the unidirectional system, as it would be more convenient to take the dimension. Total height is given as 80 mm. This dimension is 20 mm. Now the dimension of this diameters. Diameter 40 and diameter 70. This rib dimension is given as 12 mm. This cylinder height has been given again as 12 mm. So all the dimensions in the rear view has been given. Now for the bottom view, only two dimensions would be remaining. First would be diameter 50 and another would be diameter 32. Diameter 50 and diameter 32. Last dimension of the radius R50, this dimension of 30 given as well. So this is how you can draw a rear view and bottom view of any given object. Now we'll see the next problem. This problem is of engineering curves. It has been given that construct an ellipse by concentric circle method having major axis 80 mm and minor axis 50 mm. It is very necessary to understand the terminology of ellipse first of all before starting any sort of method for drawing ellipse. Let's see how ellipse looks like first of all. Ellipse looks like this. Now we are having, let's see, a circle as a reference beside the ellipse. Circle beside ellipse. So in this only a diameter there, whereas over here we'll have two diameters. One would be minor and another would be major. So these two diameters can be denoted as, first of all let's draw the center line to the middle of this ellipse. The bigger diameter can be called major axis and smaller diameter can be called as minor axis. We need two things, first major axis and another is minor axis. Now when we look at this circle would be revolving around a single center because it is having only a diameter, whether in the ellipse it is having two diameters, major axis and minor axis. It will be having two focus point. Circle's focus point would be in its center itself, but in the ellipse it would be having two focus point. Focus point would be equally spaced to the center. Let's say center C1. So this dimension can be known as distance between focus point. Distance between focus point. Distance between focus point. Focus point can be denoted as F1 and F2. So this is how an ellipse look like. It is the terminology of an ellipse. It is terminology of an ellipse. Two axis, major axis and minor axis. Now we will see that what kind of things require to draw ellipse. We will require major axis, minor axis. These are the must. Optional would be distance between focus point. If we are having these 3 points, we can easily obtain ellipse. Now we'll come again to our question. It has been asked that we need to draw an ellipse by concentric circle method. Major axis is given as 80 mm and minor axis is 50 mm. Now we know that what is major axis and what is minor axis. We need to draw using the concentric circle method. Concentric circle means that two circles having a same center but various radius or diameter. Here we are having same center but two diameters have been given, that is one is given as 80 mm and another is given as 50 mm. So what we are going to do, we will draw a 80 mm diameter circle and 50 mm diameter circle first of all. 80 mm diameter, which means that 40 radius, very light, mm and 50 mm. 50 mm means that diameter of radius of 25 mm. Using the same center, radius of 25 mm. Drawn two concentric circles. Take center line for both the circles, or draw reference lines only so that our ellipse can be clearly visible. Now divide this circle into 12 equal parts, which means that 360 divided by 12 is equal to 30 degrees. 360 divided by 12 is equal to 30 degrees. So all portion of 30 degrees. Take protractor like this, mark point, draw very light projection lines. We have divided the circle into 12 equal parts. Each part would be of 30 degrees. Each part of 30 degree. Now the outer circle is our major axis circle, inner circle is our minor axis circle. From major axis circle we will draw vertical lines, and from minor axis circle we will draw horizontal lines. First of all, let's draw vertical lines from the major axis circle. Like this, draw the line. From the minor axis circle, draw horizontal lines. It would be intersecting with this vertical lines like this. Like this, it would be intersecting with this vertical line of major axis. We need to cover major axis, so I am marking two outermost point, and we need to take minor axis, so I am marking two most inner portions too. Joining these points using the French curve or by manually, you can have ellipse. Give the nomenclature to the same: P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6, P7, P8, P9, P10, P11 and P12. We have divided circle into 12 equal parts, so total points we have achieved is 12. Name this curve as ellipse and write down concentric circle method. So this is how you can draw ellipse using the concentric circle method. We'll repeat once again. we have been given two things, major axis and minor axis. First of all, from the major axis we have drawn a circle. Here major axis is given as 80 mm, which means that we have drawn a radius 40 circle. Using the same center, we have drawn another circle of radius 25. Now we have divided that circle into 12 equal parts, which means that each part of 30 degrees. We have divided the two circles. Now we have got major axis circle, minor axis circle and 12 divisions. So 12 divisions which intersect with the major axis circle will draw vertical lines each point, and from where 12 sections intersecting minor axis circle will draw horizontal line which will intersect with this vertical line of major axis. So we will get the point like P1, P2, P3, P4, P5. We need to consideration of major axis, so we have marked two outermost point P6 and P12. Whereas we also required minor axis to be considered as well, so we have taken P3 and P9 as well. Joining with the French curve or by manually, you can achieve your ellipse. Give the dimension like this. This is 80 mm and this would be, minor axis would be 50 mm. So this is how ellipse using concentric circle method can be drawn. We will see our next problem. The next problem is about drawing a cycloid for a circle of 60 mm diameter. Now cycloid is something that a circle is revolving for a one revolution without slipping. Let's see, if a gear is rotating circularly